Good morning and welcome to the Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We normally hear people say that we live in an age of competition. Yes, we do. But competition has been the way of life since the world began. If there was no competition, there would have been no progress. Even otherwise, in normal discourse, we say survival of the fittest. Now, the fittest can either be intellectual or physical. But competition is not a way of life only. It is also a way of existence. Just imagine what a sense of competition can achieve. When pitted against another, you draw on those resources which you may leave untapped when performing by yourself. If there is one guy only running the race, he will run the race all right, but at what speed? How long would it take? Because there is nobody to compete against. Nevertheless, competition is a double-edged sword. While it brings out the best in you, it also brings out the worst in you. And that is why what Finland has done is that there will be no competition of any sort in the primary classes of the schools. That is one way, and they have changed the concept of competition. They say the competition should be growing and developing together rather than breaking others. And that's a reality. You join hands, do a research work, and the results of the research are much better because there are different points of view that can come on that. You have a tug of war, you are still competing against others, but this is a combination of people against another combination of people. You see, competition coaxes us to do better than others. It brings out the best in us. And this is the inherent desire of every human being. Every girl wants to look better than the others, and that's why these competitions, Miss World, Miss America, Miss Canada, and so on. And now the competitions are also not only Miss, but Misses, then Misters. The Nobel Prize, which is awarded, is in nothing but an acceptance of the fact that one has excelled against others. The inherent instinct, as I said, is to better than others, to be the one to win, to be the one to succeed. Perhaps the throwback of the competition is an age when food, shelter, and the healthiest men and women had to be fought over, and the survival of the fittest was there. It's nature which demonstrated the virtues and the vices of competition in the battle for survival. But there's no denying the fact that a man has changed in that field today. The winners are still those who gauge the possibilities of their defeat and the probabilities of their success. They strategize and then make a concerted effort to draw on all their strengths, latent and visible. But can that be coaxed only through a sense of competition? That's a major thing. Competition by itself can be corroding, can be strangulating to the psyche of the person. So how about evolving a system of competition where you compete not with others, but with others? Compete with, not against others. That's the important thing which is evolved. To make a person a better human being, he has to compete. But the competition, as I said, should be with, and not against others. And that is the crux of the issue. On the racing tracks in the school, you can do better if the instructor gives you a benchmark, a target to be achieved or better. I said earlier that a runner, a guy running a race, doesn't have a desire to do better because there's no competition. But then if case he's given a target, a goal, that he has to run, say, 100 meters in 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute, whatever. So that target would become the target and not against A, B, and C. So each one of them can reach the target and still be successful, still be the best. You cannot imagine that there is a fun of staying against and beating other rivals. That is satisfying. I don't deny that. But the very fact that overcoming the obstacle and reaching the goal is a satisfaction by itself. Imagine if you are matching your rivals and then both of you come at the top, there would be a sense of deja vu. There would be a sense, well, why can't I be better than him? So the next target can be to increase the level of target and then see who comes first. You see, the attempt should be to outdo the speed of the rival, not the rival himself. Unfortunately, the competition that we have today is the other way around. It is a method to ensure the ignominy and the insult of the other, and then by comparison shine out. That is an animalistic quality, all right, but that's not a human quality. As I said earlier, it's a double-edged sword. So we can blame nature and their instinct for this habit of human beings to be competitive. But then we teach children the virtue of competitiveness quite early. We push them to perform and demonstrate superiority. And the superiority is not over their achievement, but over others. If X is not performing and your child is performing, then he's better. But why can't he perform by himself? What happens is we have been convinced that genius is one who competes with others. Now compare that with the real achievements. Madame Curie was not competing with others to discover radium. She was competing with herself to discover radium. Who would discover it? All the discoveries people are doing at the same time and somebody discovers it, but they are not having the killing instinct. The competition, when it encourages killer instinct, as I said, is suffocating. But when competition is to bring out your latent qualities, your best qualities, that is something different. You see, what happens is, in the world today, right from the time you have got to go to the nursery school for admission, to the college, to the university, to the job, we have seen that there is a tendency to believe, and belief is that you're getting the privileged position is a matter of entitlement. And that means not you're only getting a position, but replacing others. When the effort is to replace others, this leads to insecurity and fear. And when that happens, the result is unfair, dishonest practices, corruption. And then competition becomes what the psychologists call decompetition. And there's always a danger that the competition would degenerate into decompetition, something which is far removed from real competition. And the aim of competition is not to succeed or to better yourself, but to pull down, to belittle, and decapacitate the other. It's a state where one is willing to ignore or lose one's moral compass in the favor of winning or succeeding. True competition is about growth and betterment. True competition has the potential to enhance and enrich lives. A really competitive spirit is about growing, bettering, prospering together. That's why I say compete with rather than compete against. And when you're competing with, you're betting yourself. But then why do we go far off? If we look at the origin of the word competition, we'll realize that the competition does not mean competing against. It means competing with. The etymology of the word competition is from Latin word, which means strive in common. The word is competere. C-O-M-P-E-T-E-R-E, competere. This is the Latin word. And literal translation means to strive in common, to work in tandem with others, to work together. So competition is working together, working in tandem, striving in a common goal. The end result of the competition, according to the etymology of the word, is that a competition should have all that who have striven to push to themselves and become better. So it's a combined effort. And that's why I said in the very beginning, it's not competing against, it's competing with. And the real spirit of competition is, I think, still one step further. The real spirit is that you compete with yourself first. Try to make your goal more and more elevated. And as the goal increases, your effort to strive and reach that goal would also increase. And that is the true spirit of competition. True competition teaches one to stay centered, focused, and also sympathetic. And that is a quality which makes you a better human being. Another thing, when you are competing with and not against, then in case of failure or success, you are more balanced. You are neither too elevated when you are successful, nor too depressed when you are failing. So the question of depression, which also faces the modern man, is because we are competing against and not competing with. The moment we learn that competing with is better than competing against, we would strive more, and the combined effort would make the goals to reach easily. It will make life better and worthier to live. It will enhance the quality of life and make us, most important, more balanced in approach. And that, epidemic of depression that faces the mankind today would automatically be removed. That will be eliminated because you're not competing against anybody. And when you're not competing against anybody, you're competing with. In case of a failure, you have a more balanced approach so that depression won't set in. Can there be anything better than that? Competition, yes, it's a must. It's a quality that must be observed and practiced. But as I said, compete with, not against, and be a better human being. Thank you.